This podcast is part of Another Happy Studios,
the home of podcasts with passion.
Hello and welcome once again to Talking Pictures Podcast. I'm your host David, and joined with me as always my co-host Brian. Brian, how are you today?
David, that was the fastest introduction you've ever given since I hit the copper.
I know. Normally I leave it maybe 30 seconds just to gather my thoughts or anything like that. But I was like, you know what? We're just going to get into this one today.
Oh, man, we're living on seconds here.
Brian, I want to thank you for joining me for Talking Pictures Podcast. I want to thank everyone else for joining in. No, I don't. That's the end. I'm welcoming people. Sorry. Welcome to Talking Pictures Podcast. If you're new here, make sure you're subscribed to us on your favorite podcasting app of choice. Follow us on all of our social medias. We have new episodes every single Wednesday. Normally, we start things off. We're going to be talking about The Mandalorian and Grogu, that little bugger. But before we get talking about that, we're going to talk about Trailer of the Week. And Brian, that's your job. So please hit us with the Trailer of the Week.
Yeah, this movie.
What do you mean?
This movie is a trailer for The Mandalorian and Grogu. Streaming on Disney+.
Do we know that?
We do know that.
Do we know that?
We do.
Well, I mean, a trailer would be that it predates something that is to come soon.
Yeah, and
do we know if we're going to get more Mandalorian and Grogu?
I'll let you know when we do.
But then you can't pick it you can't pick it as a trailer of the week.
This is definitely a trailer of the week. Look what you can get on Disney+.
Okay.
It's either that or nothing else, because I think this movie
let's just talk about it.
It's the most appropriate thing to use as a trailer, because it's this movie.
Okay.
Talk about TV shows getting movies. Mm-hmm. We could talk hours on this, and it's probably just not necessary, because at the end of the day, it's always going to be an ongoing, unresolved, always questioned topic.
Yeah. I mean, we did an episode on Powerpuff Girls for Saturday Morning Cartoon Club, and in that we talk about the final of the original run, which was the Powerpuff Girls movie. Mm-hmm. And in that, I kind of said, you can kind of go one of two ways about it. And one of the main things about making a movie is, okay, why are we making a movie about this and not continuing it in the medium that it is? Mm-hmm.
What makes it movie worthy?
Exactly. And that's what I had going into The Mandalorian and Grogu, where I watched maybe the first trailer and I was so unimpressed, where I was like, okay, but why a movie? Mm-hmm. Why is this a movie, and why is this not just the next season of The Mandalorian? And I was like, I didn't watch any second trailer, I didn't watch any third trailer, and I was like, no, I'm missing something. They're holding back on something here, and there has to be a reason as to why this is, think about it. This is the first Star Wars movie that we've gotten since Rise of Skywalker. This is the
Everyone else has said the same thing.
I'm sure everyone else has said the same thing, but I'm also saying it. This is the first movie this is the first Star Wars movie back in cinemas. This is the first movie taking place after 5 or 6 Star Wars Disney Plus series. For the most part, Star Wars has been relegated to TV. It's been relegated to a streaming service. It's content.
Guess where else you can also watch the Mandalorian, the Adventures of the Mandalorian and
where?
Grogu? Disney Plus, where all the other streaming content from Star Wars.
That's what I'm saying. So the Mandalorian and Grogu has this huge task of, okay, we have to bring Star Wars back to the big screen.
Yeah,
in
2027 with Star Wars Starfighter.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that Mandalorian and Grogu is the first of this reintroduction.
And it will be quickly forgotten about.
It probably will be, because while it didn't produce anything that I was like, okay, yes, this needed to be told in a movie. This needed to be the bigger scale of it all. I did find that there were a lot of elements that I was like, okay, you couldn't have done this with the smaller scale of the TV budget. Maybe if you had reduced your 8 to 10 episode season down to 4 episodes and you're splitting that entire budget over 4 episodes, yes, maybe. But I can understand why they chose that. They have this story that they want to tell. Mm-hmm. Does it fit a TV show 10 episodes? No. But would it fit a movie? Yes. I can understand that aspect of it.
I don't think it's enough of an excuse to use that the inclusion of all these CGI characters is reason enough to warrant it being a movie. Mm-hmm. If this Mandalorian and Grogu movie was originally conceived to be a season 4 of The Mandalorian, you can be sure a lot of characters they had in this movie could easily be changed to mere people. And this movie kind of presents itself as maybe like, I don't know, 5 episodes of an 8 episode season of The Mandalorian. But if they continued down the development of making this a TV show, they could expand it out a bit. So like if I was thinking, how am I going to chat about this? What am I going to bring to this that I haven't heard Nathan and Lawrence bring in their episode? And it's the fact that the movie starts off with an opening action sequence that a lot of people are praising probably to be the best of the movie. And I'm thinking, yeah, it's no different. It's fine. It's fine action. The opening credit, the open battle. But like, if that was an episode, that action sequence would be condensed shorter, or it would be expanded to the entirety of the first episode, and it ends with them leaving, with having saved the day, and then episode 2 starts with them return to base with the info they have, and the movie would go on, and maybe episode 2 ends with finding Rata the Hutt. Maybe episode 3 could end maybe with the start of the battle, or with Rata the Hutt, and at some point I go, right, well, the plateau of the movie where he sends Rata on his way and he's now back at home and he's just living. It's a bit of a quiet period. That's to me is like episode 5.
See, though, are you going into it when you're watching it? Are you literally going, okay, that will be the end of episode 1? Like, are you thinking of it in that kind of a way? Because I don't think that's helpful either. Now, don't get me wrong. I probably did it too, where I'm going like, okay, that was episode 1. That was episode 2. That was episode 3. Like, that's not fair to the movie either, because it's not 4 episodes or 5 episodes of a TV show. It is a movie. It is a through-line movie with a start and an end. It's
a movie because, of a matter of fact, it is a movie.
Yeah. But I don't feel as though it's 5 episodes of a show. It is when I said earlier where you condense an 8 episode or 10 episode season down into 5 episodes, I'm talking on a budgetary aspect, where you're taking the budget for later episodes and you're applying that to all of the CGI characters. Because, yes, the thing that I was talking about was specifically how many CGI characters there are in this, and that couldn't really be done in the TV way the way that it's been going so far.
No.
But I think it's not fair on it to go, well, this would be an episode. Because we didn't, like, you don't do that when you're talking about the Powerpuff Girls. You don't do that when we're talking about other adaptations that have gone from TV to movie. Now, that being said, a lot of times it is movie to TV show, and it goes that way. It's not often these days now, or if it does happen, it is normally a TV show. The conclusion is a movie, you know? And this doesn't feel like a conclusion to The Mandalorian and Grogu. It feels like a chapter within their story. But the thing is, at the moment, we don't know, is there going to be a season 4 of The Mandalorian?
Well, whatever plans they had, they scrapped for now. So, and they've cancelled a big crossover they were toying with. I don't know where they're going. Like, they're even considering putting Ahsoka and Thrawn in this movie, and Jon Favreau said no. And like, Dave Filoni was joking, I almost fired John. And I'm going, you shouldn't have power over Jon Favreau like that. Yeah. And that makes me think, are you the right guy to run Star Wars?
I would have said back in the day, and by back in the day, I would have been couple of years ago, like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I would have said, yeah, I want Dave Filoni to do it. But I don't know, I think I'm kind of my beer goggles for Dave Filoni have kind of slipped, and I don't know about you, but I feel like Dave Filoni, right, and this is, I'm gonna say a point and I'm gonna argue my own point, okay? I'm gonna play devil's advocate to myself. It feels like Dave Filoni wants to make Star Wars, but he only wants to play with the characters that he made up. He only wants to play with his own personal characters, that being the Mandalorian, that being Grogu, that being Rata the Hutt, the bounty hunter that appears. That was a character that was introduced in the Clone Wars.
Embo.
You have Zeb, who was introduced in Rebels, and then exactly like that, where you said that Thrawn and Ahsoka may have made an appearance, and I'm kind of like, oh, like,
get over yourself,
kind of. Now, okay, here's the devil's advocate to that. George Lucas only played with characters that he created. You know, I don't have that same criticism against George Lucas, where he only made, when he went and did the prequels, he played with Obi-Wan and he played with Yoda, 2 characters that he'd already made up. And probably no one at the time was going, oh, you're only using characters that you already have used, or you've already made them yourself.
People were too dumb back then to make criticisms like that.
No, but like, it's a funny criticism I have, where while Dave Filoni does feel as though he is only just playing with the characters from his toys chest, that I can't say that about other filmmakers and other people like J.J. Abrams. I don't make that criticism with him because when he makes Daisy Ridley with Rey and he makes Finn and Kylo Ren, where it's like, oh yeah, you only want to play around with your own characters, you're only given the development for those characters because you made them up. But it's like, do you see where I'm coming from? Like, what kind of point I'm making?
But here's the thing. George Lucas made his trilogy. A trilogy that he led. J.J. Abrams kind of started a trilogy. He should have stayed on it, to be honest. But it's like me writing a story, and I create my characters and the setting, and you're coming to me like, you're only playing with your characters. You're only writing your characters. Like, well, yeah, because they're in my story.
But that's the point I'm making. Yeah, is that I have that criticism with Dave Filoni.
But I feel, to go on to agree with you, I feel like Dave Filoni wants to create stories with these characters rather than creating stories from scratch. He made them from scratch before, and now he's just bringing them back. And he wants to continue those ones instead of now making new characters entirely. Yeah, and I don't think it's a cheat to say, well, that's what they did with Andor. Well, not necessarily, because Andor was a cog in the machine to kind of tell the story about the rebellion rising up against the Empire. And who in their right mind would have thought the likes of a character like Cassian Andor would have led his own show? No one thought that. Because no one thought Andor was going to work, and no one thought, well, and everyone would have thought, what the hell are you making a TV show about this guy who was introduced into a secondary villain of a premium franchise? Because the show was great. It was absolutely excellent. It would also
be different if Gareth Edwards was, after Rogue One, comes back years later and it's like, okay, yeah, do you want to make a Star Wars TV series? And he goes, yeah, no worries, I'll make one on Andor. Like, it was someone else that came in along and
yeah, well, it was Tony Gilroy who came in to salvage Rogue One. He was offered to it, but he didn't just dedicate it solely to Andor. When I think of Andor, I'm thinking of the likes of Deidre. What's the guy?
Yeah, all these characters who are Cecil and all these characters that are introduced.
And Mon Mothma and all that. Like, all these characters he's dedicated to, and like kind of story arcs. So like that, there's a lot of creativity in that to go around. Whereas this is a movie from a simple TV show, a TV show that was inspired to the kind of Western where the man with no name goes to the town and saves the day.
Yeah. I think I just want to acknowledge the fact that it's a criticism I have of Dave Filoni, but I understand it is also an unfair criticism that I'm only putting on him and not other people.
Lad, he needs to kill Ahsoka.
Yeah, probably. Like, Ahsoka's one of my favorite Star Wars characters, but yeah, like, you're leaning on her a little bit too heavily. Like, I would like to see some consequences for her character.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't want to see Dave Filoni direct anything that aren't his characters anymore. Like, I don't want him to direct the new Star Wars movie. I want him to get a creative team and hire a director because they pitch a great idea for Star Wars. I need him to start doing that now. Get others to do your Star Wars stuff, and you need to get on board with them.
Yeah, like, move into a more of a Kevin Feige role where you're getting the best people for the job, and not, here are my characters, make the story.
And if you want to, have your cake and eat it too, make your own little Star Wars thing. But I do know, like, Ahsoka was only greenlit for one more season, and the viewers are not there. So he's gonna go balls to the walls, nuts 90 with it. So, like, I'm looking forward to Ahsoka season 2. It's been delayed to 2027. We'll see what the crack is there. But, like, you are running out of steam with the characters you are bringing back. Like you do a Boba Fett show, and you force in a Cad Bane. It makes sense, and it's further establishing the canon between live action and animation. However, you also close the book on Cad Bane, unless it's a prequel. Like, I think there was an animated thing on Disney Plus with him there, like how they're always doing with Darth Maul. Like, God forbid Dave Filoni have Maul back in live action, but like he brings back another bounty hunter, Embo. And while the Mandalorian is profoundly known for being in the bounty hunter world, like, the Mandalorian is pretty much inspired on Boba Fett.
Yeah.
If anything, I won't be surprised if Jon Favreau pitched the Mandalorian with it actually being Boba Fett.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about, like, Boba Fett is in maybe 15 minutes of the original trilogy, and
Not even.
no, and then dies pretty much straight away in Return of the Jedi. So I'm sure that the Mandalorian, as in Din Djarin, was pitched as, remember how cool Boba Fett was, and you're kind of nearly like playing on the idea of what Boba Fett was in people's minds as opposed to who he actually was portrayed as in the movie.
Yeah.
And then when he's reintroduced in season 2, it's like, okay, let's make Boba Fett now the badass that people remember him being.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of bring him towards that.
At least in the second season of Mandalorian, and not his own show.
No, absolutely not. Why would you do that? But some things make sense with bringing characters back. Like, for example, the bounty hunter in this. It's not a character who I even remember from the Clone Wars. I thought it was a new character entirely. One of the things I'm so grateful for that they decided to do with this, which is a problem that they have done so often in Star Wars, so often, where they introduce a character, and then by the end of whatever they've introduced them in, they're dead, and then they're expanded upon at a later point.
Who are you talking about now?
They do it like all the time with Inquisitors.
You're right.
They introduce them in episode 1 of Ahsoka, and they're dead by episode 4 of Ahsoka, and it's like, all right, okay, and then later on it's like, we're gonna reintroduce him in the Maul show, and we're gonna expand on him here, and it's like, okay, but like, I know where he dies. Like, I just don't like characters being introduced and killed off, and it's like, okay, we're gonna expand on them at a later point. It's like, no, like the fact that this bounty hunter by the end of it got away, I was like, oh, thank God. Like,
because he's from the Clone Wars.
He was, I think, introduced initially in the Clone Wars. Now, I only heard of that after the movie came out. I was like, oh, I didn't even realize. And I watched all the Clone Wars. I don't remember all the Clone Wars, but I watched it all. Couldn't remember that character, but I was like, oh, thank God. We have this now, this bounty hunter. This, let's be honest, a cool bounty hunter.
He was cool.
He was like...
I think he was cooler than Cad Bane.
I think so too. And he seemed to be more capable than the Mandalorian. He seemed just to be like more athletic and more fluid, and he was just able to do his job better. It's like, okay, great. Now we're going to have the opportunity that at a later point, we have this character, you know, have him appear in season 4 of The Mandalorian. And
well, he kind of did.
No, but, you know, The Mandalorian season 4 comes on, and Din and Grogu are away, and they're going to go get this bounty. And guess what? This other guy is here, and he's an adversary in that they're both hunting the same bounty or something like that. He doesn't have to be a bad guy I'm going up against in the same way that he did in this. He's just another antagonistic force that he fights off against.
A kind of Bill Burr equivalent.
Yeah.
Bill Burr turns out to be more than good.
Yeah.
But like in the first season he was kind of a foe.
And it's someone that they're nearly kind of racing to get to the bounty, or they're going about it in different ways or something like that. Like, the fact that is on the table is great.
I thought he was a droid.
So did I. I thought so too. Especially because when I watched that, I don't know what the trailer was. I don't know if it was the first trailer. And they pulled off Mando's helmet. And I was like, okay, you guys. Now, we just spent a whole season. Well, maybe not a whole season. We spent half a season talking about how this is the greatest shame that can befall a Mandalorian, especially when it comes to the sect of the Mandalorians that he's from. It is so important that no one sees his face. So, if that person is pulling off his helmet, they have to be a droid. Or alternatively, everyone in that room has to die. I don't know why. Even though it's only mentioned for the first time in this movie, I felt as though that was the case. I was like, oh yeah, well sure, if they're dead, then it's fine. Did that guy see his face? Because he does go back and kill the Hutts. Like, they're fine. But
that guy, he took it off and walked straight, but he was in the room, so like, I'm not gonna lie, I think it does count.
I don't know. I don't think it counts.
I think it does.
I don't know. If he didn't see his face, then it's fine.
Maybe they could just retcon a bit of canon and say he's actually a droid.
I mean, it's probably more likely than just saying, oh yeah, no, I never saw your face. I don't know. I think it could go either way. But like, I'm glad that it wasn't a thing that they forgot about. You know, when you spend so much time talking about how
this is the way,
to forget the way, then that's a problem. But I didn't need the in your face Hutt telling me, I've taken off your helmet, and just so you know, that is the worst thing that could happen to you. Like, yeah, I know that that's there for the people that did not watch the show. But like, it's in my face.
But then they do further stupid decisions and say, here's your reward. Throw you back the helmet.
Yeah.
Come on, lad. Alright? That's probably more stupid than having Rodda the Hutt give his speech about how he doesn't want to be like his father. He loves it when the crowd cheers for him. Twice. I shit you not. He delivers that same speech, few words different here and there, twice. First time he meets him, and then when he tries to get him out of the cell. Lad.
It's just, there's
Like-
no need for
like-
it twice. I heard it once, don't worry. I remember it.
Yeah.
The thing is though, if Pedro Pascal if I hadn't seen his face, that wouldn't have bothered me whatsoever. I did not need Pedro Pascal to actually be in this movie.
I think if they kind of made it a point that just go big or go home, like 5 minutes I'd nearly rather you didn't pull his mask off. Like, I'd rather they make the movie to be a standalone event and implement a bit of a subplot where part of that event forces him to remove his helmet, and anyone he encounters in said movie either don't see him with his mask off, or anyone who does dies. Or make a bit of a thing out of it with someone who does see his face, he doesn't want to kill because they're actually an ally. I don't know, go figure, maybe that would be more movie worthy than hopscotching from one beat to the next, like a video game.
Like, when it comes to Star Wars movies, and I think this has probably been said by lots of people as well, is that,
And we're going to say it too.
we're going to say it too, a Star Wars movie should be sit down, press play, and you good to go. And if you want more explanation, if you want more lore, if you want more information on what's going on, that's what all the other stuff is for. That's the TV shows. And that was something that I did go into this movie wondering, because I had a couple of people actually ask me, oh, I've not seen The Mandalorian, can I still watch this? And I, before I had even seen the movie, I went, yeah. Like, I just don't believe that they can make a Star Wars movie and have some, like, really important piece of information that you only know if you watch the TV show. Like, this has to be, like I said earlier, this is the first Star Wars movie in 7 years. It has to be for a general audience. The only thing that people have to know is that this guy is a bounty hunter and he's got a little baby Yoda with him.
I'm not going to lie, I think his bounty hunting days are behind him now. Like he's a contractor for the Republic. Like,
yeah, but then even though he's a contractor for the Republic, he's still bounty hunting. He's just doing it for the right people this time.
Yeah, but man, that's what made him. That's the original concept from the get go. That's what made him cool.
You know, I'm not saying that. I'm not. What I'm saying is that you just have to have a general understanding of who this character is.
All right.
And I think that for what my description of it there was, where anyone can sit down and watch this, I think the movie kind of achieves that. Like, it is just a fun adventure movie. Like, there was no point where I'm sitting here, well, okay, actually, I'm going to play devil's advocate. There was no point, there's no point in this where I'm looking at my watch waiting for it to be over. Now, it does grind to a bit of a halt at a certain sequence.
Yeah, episode 6.
Well, I wasn't going to say it like that. But when we're just with Grogu, I'm like, okay, pick up the pace a little bit here. I get what you're going for here, but, like, come on, like,
This
slowing down a little.
Someone
too much.
defending this calls this an arc, a developmental phase for this character, and I'm going, it's a good moment. It's kind of necessary. This is what would make it movie worthy, but it would be a hell of an episode in its own right. Do you know?
Yeah.
I think if this was an 8-episode TV show, this is like, maybe, I don't know, the latter half of episode 6, the first half of episode 7.
Yeah.
And there would be developmental stages for this character, and this would be quite an effective one. And even if it was an episode, expand on his little meet and greet with the crocodile looking creature sitting in the rocking chair. Like, he could be a great character for Grogu to meet and, I don't know, go on a soft mini side quest while Jin is dispatched and healing.
To get the cure for the poison.
Yeah, and, I don't know, come across a bit of a foe, and this guy actually teach a little something for Grogu to learn, and not just devote his time and attention to his Mandalorian master father.
Yeah, see, that's, I think, the main problem I have with the movie itself is the lack of character arc. Like, where Mandalorian and Grogu start is the same place at which they end. They don't change or anything like that. Like, I thought going into this, there would be some level of
consequences, developmental arc, a reason to make this into a movie in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. I thought we would have some level of it where Mando is apprehensive to allow Grogu to do certain things because he still sees him as the child. You know, he's afraid of him. It's too dangerous or something like that. And by the end of it, he's had to learn how to see him for who he is. See him for the man he is to become. That I can't always baby him. In the same way that Rotta the Hutt is not just like his father. He's not Jabba the Hutt. And while the beginnings of that arc is there, where, yes, Grogu has to look after Mando. He has to spend time looking after Mando. He has to spend time on his own. He has to spend time foraging for food. All these kind of things. And had you have then had Mando waking up and, you know, you took care of me. I can't believe you were able to do this all by yourself. And, oh, look, he got from this other planet. He went with the Babu Fricks and came here. And then in the middle of the fight, sure, didn't he go into one of the robots? And just like have that change in Mando where he no longer sees him as the child and sees him as, and he does as well kind of see him as like his child, but also like as a bit of a pet as well. Because he does say like heel, and like he does certain things where I'm like, okay, it's a bit weird that you're talking to him like this, but see him as, by the end of the movie, an equal. I thought maybe that might be a great arc to go on. I also thought we have to have some... I thought this was such a minor thing that I thought with, okay, this justifies it being a movie. If by the end of it, Grogu speaks. He says something. He just says one word. And it's like, okay, look at this development. Grogu has gone from this baby Yoda to an actual character. Not that he's not a character, but, you know, a character that there's a possibility of conversing with at some point. I thought that would be like a, holy shit, he talks in this one. You know, that is enough to justify all this other stuff in making this the movie.
I think they'll be afraid to commit to that. Because
I think so too.
Because once you do it,
you can't go back.
Yeah, well, I suppose you could do it in the movie and stay going with the TV show. And like, oh no, he's still just like incoherent child, like language.
I didn't need him to say a full-on sentence or anything like that, or have a conversation with Mando. But saying Mandalorian's name, saying Din, saying this is the way, something like that, you know, if we get another season of the show, he's not going to be talking or anything like that, but we know that he is learning, he is growing.
But isn't that just not another moment? It's a moment.
It's a moment to justify making it a movie.
No, it's not.
It is. It's more than what we got. So, of course, it would be adding to the list of things that we got.
There's more development. Look, the only thing, the great thing I can say about this, right? This movie. What did I like? Okay. It was a more fun story to watch than season 3. Mm-hmm. They actually made Rotta the Hutt cool, enjoyable, and likable. And he's a Hutt. And I think Zeb is cool.
You know, before this movie came out, I kind of spoke to you a little bit about, like I was saying earlier, with characters who if you want to learn more about them, that's fine. There's loads of other stuff to go and watch. But while I was watching it, I kind of nearly actually disagreed with myself, where I'm like, have you ever heard the term glup shitto? No. So glup shitto is a term that's used online where characters are introduced in Star Wars and you're just supposed to know who they are, and it's a real, oh my god, it's so-and-so, and people have named that hypothetical character glup shitto. So
everyone in this movie, maybe bar Sigourney Weaver,
is a glup shitto.
Yeah.
There are a lot of glup shittos. For me, Rotta the Hutt was a glup shitto, where they show the hologram of him and he's the little baby and
making the same pose that you've seen in a still image with Ahsoka holding him.
Exactly, yeah. And it's like, for me, who knows who the character is, I'm like, we're going back to the Clone Wars, like the Clone Wars movie, that character. So when they announced it, and this is before this is like not in the movie, but when I had heard initially, it's like, oh yeah, Jeremy Allen White is going to play Jabba the Hutt's son, and I'm like, for me, that is the first time I've ever gone, oh, he's a glup shitto. Like, why do I care about this character? I don't know. Give me a reason to care about this character. They do, I suppose, in a way. I don't care very much, or I'm not like, oh, I can't wait to see him again or anything like that. I thought that Jeremy Allen White, I was not expecting his voice to be just Jeremy Allen White. Like, when he started speaking, and it's like,
it's an augmented voice. It's very bass.
He puts on, and like, no, sorry, he doesn't put on any voice. The sound effects department absolutely put on a filter on his voice, but like, he might as well have been asking how many minutes did the pass. cousin. Where's the beef?
Or, I don't know, maybe an actual traditional voice actor.
Yeah, I mean,
like-
there's no
like
reason
David-
really why it had to be Jeremy Allen
David.
White other than the star power.
Jeremy Allen White's name is second after Pedro Pascal.
And you know who's third?
Who?
Martin Scorsese. It was crazy.
He's not third, but he's definitely like...
He's third or fourth.
He's in the middle. And he did a day's recording.
Yeah. But you know what? He's got the voice for an alien, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, he does.
fits that more so than Jeremy Allen White. But to work my way around to what you said, where you liked Zeb, I also like Zeb, but I question why he was in the movie, other than Dave Filoni looking in his toy chest and going, what characters do I have? Oh, Zeb can fit this role.
Because they have the budget for him.
Yeah, but there's no reason why that is Zeb other than they have the budget for him. And I'm almost convinced, I'm 99.9% convinced that while you have said, I like Zeb in this, you're not going to go watch Rebels.
I'd have to be really bored.
There you go. They've not introduced the character or justified him in a way where you go, I want to know more about the character. I want to learn about this. And that should be, if you're introducing a character who is primarily in those TV shows, use them in a way that gets people to go on to Disney Plus and gets them watching Rebels and gets them more invested in those characters and those stories. Because you've made the stories, it's done, and it's a great piece of television. It's great stories, but you're not doing it justice by you're not getting as many people to watch it as possible. Because Zeb is just the guy in the chair. He's just any other pilot. It may as well have been the other fella, the guy that was supposed to be the Rangers of the New Republic, Carson Teva or whatever his name is.
Who's that guy?
Glup Shitto. the guy, he appears in. He's like the fighter pilot. The older Asian guy.
Oh, the white beard.
Yeah.
He appears in a few episodes of the Mandalorian show.
And he appears in this for a little bit.
For like one shot. He has one shot less than Dave Filoni does.
Yeah. And he's supposed to be a main character in a TV show.
I think that actor should have been the guy in the chair than Zeb.
That's what I'm saying, is that it should have just been that character.
That's the natural stepping stone for season 4. Like, he's been introduced a few times. He has a scene with Zeb. Why didn't you put him in there?
Yeah, because we had the budget to do Zeb.
Yeah. Well, one reason I like Zeb is because he didn't come across like a Drax-like character.
No, he's not. Yeah, no, he's not
because when you have a crew called Rebels and you have like it's a motley crew of tight knit bandits. One of them's a big alien. Oh, he's just like a big grudging monster who's got the strength.
He can fit in that box. He can tick off your checklist.
I didn't think that at all. I thought, oh, this guy's like he seems a bit grizzled. He's a pirate. I fully believe that he would wear glasses. I think he could pull on like a bit of an operation of sort.
Yep.
And he's very agile. He's climbing on walls like a monkey. And yeah, I like this character. More, please, in live action. Please. But yeah, I thought Right Out of the Hut was cool. And putting off some of the little like body work and normalizing the body of a slug. And like, dude, how are you comfortable living? Like,
it's funny because whenever I think of like Jabba the Hutt, like I don't ever remember him walking like that or anything like that. He would just
walking
or like sliding along. Like, but the way that the Hutts in this movie was like they'd flop on their faces and then like roll or something like that. Like they a strange movement that I wouldn't have ever associated with Jabba doing.
They just don't look like they're living a comfortable life.
No.
Like, I would not want to be born that way. No. I would not. No.
Jesus, no.
What do you make of the fact that they pretty much use this movie? The villains for this movie were introduced on like a random episode for the Boba Fett show.
Yeah.
And they would have been more suitable to be villains for Boba Fett. Because it's a reminder, a callback to the entity, the monster, the being of Jabba the Hutt. But there are two of them. And they're twins, and they're not exactly the same in appearances, and there's something menacing about that. I think relegating the twins to be primary villains for those in a Boba Fett show would have been more appropriate, because it's playing within that sandbox, going down memory lane of what we know and identify, and I think that would have been more suitable than them being thrown in here because movie budget.
I find it weird anytime that like the bad guy is introduced, but it's not revealed that they're the bad guy, or like not, I'm not saying that in like terms of like something where something is a twist, where oh this was the bad guy the whole time, where we're introduced to them, then we leave, and then we end up coming back to them, and it's like oh no, these are the main bad guys for the whole movie
because they're in the final battle.
Yeah, when we were first introduced to them, I'm not thinking, oh, this is us meeting the main bad guy. I thought the main bad guy was going to be the bounty hunter. But then when the bounty hunter takes them back to the huts, I'm like, oh, the huts are the bad guys? Like, this is where we're ultimately leading to? That's disappointing. Because, I don't know why, it's just like, because we already met them. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no bigger bad that's above it all. Like, if that was the introduction to the huts, if we had seen them maybe in a hologram or something like that beforehand, that's where he got the initial mission from him, and then he was eventually delivered to them, and there was a bit more grandiose to them, then I'm like, that's fine. But it's because we are introduced to them, leave them, and then have come back to them, and then it's like, oh no, this is it, this is as big as it's going, really.
Let me put it this way. Well, I didn't like Boba Fett show.
I liked some of the Boba Fett show, the episodes that didn't include Boba Fett.
I'm not including them.
Okay, well in that case, no, me neither.
But there was maybe 1 or 2 episodes at the start of the show I did like, and that's
where he meets the Wookiee, and
the big Wookiee takes over the palace, and he's being confronted by the Hutts who want Jabba the Hutt's territory.
Yeah,
I thought, wow, this is like getting something today that we all know, but we haven't had in years. Another one was the Rancor, for example.
Yeah.
So I was excited to see what could be explored with that. Like, just think about how menacing and vile these Hutts things are. Like, the two of them just sitting on that little, like, bed that is being carried by normal folks. Like, how broken are your backs going to be at the end of that day? And I thought, I want to see what else we're going to do with these characters. No. We're done with them. We're not doing with them. They're just introduced in that one episode.
Yeah.
They give off the Wookiee, and so he's now part of the Boba Fett family.
Well, again, that it's kind of playing into my point as well earlier, where characters are introduced and then almost immediately die, and maybe later down the line we'll get expansions on them, but they're introduced in that episode, and they're reintroduced here and die by the end of it. So it's like,
well, my point is, I was enthusiastic in what we could see from those Hutts.
Oh yeah,
from them. But now I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, that's. I think we're both adjoining our points together. Is that
in a roundabout way?
It's great to see these characters, and I want to see these characters. But when they're dispatched of so quickly, then it's like, okay, well, like I think knowing a character's end can sometimes just like, okay, why would I care about?
Well, I think you need to make a good story, because then someone's going to point Andor to us.
That's true. Yeah, that is true.
But it's not a good story, and I think also the method of using it, the medium as well, you use it in. Andor could not be pulled off if it was a movie. But a 2-season, 12-episode each arc, now you're talking. It's how you use these characters. And like, you're just chopping and changing and hopscotching characters from one entity to another, one medium to another. And I'm like, I'm going to have the same problems if you make another Star Wars movie and you're just going to slog in Ahsoka to be the main character. And that's going to be your final... No, don't do that.
Do you find it difficult when it comes to Star Wars as a franchise where it hops around too much? And because it never has been linear.
Well,
where the only time it's ever been linear really is when 4, 5 and 6 came out.
Yeah.
And then we go back, and as soon as you go back and then they start going forward again, it can chop and change. Like when you have the Acolyte and you go, oh, it's all the way before the prequels. You have the Mandalorian, oh, it's set between episodes 6 and 7. You've Maul Shadowlord that came out there recently, that's set between episodes 3 and 4. Like, there's so much that comes out for Star Wars, and it's all over the place. It's like, okay, where does this fit on the timeline? That it can sometimes be like, where am I meeting a character in their lifetime?
Part of me thinks, I don't care anymore. Another part of me thinks, how good is the story for me to care? Like, if I would love a standalone, isolated story, a survival story about Order 66. I would love to see a Jedi we've never come to meet try to rescue those who he deems to be his closest family, and I don't know, have a few cool lightsaber. Just make a Rogue One type of thing out of it, except rather than being a thriller heist with spy espionage, just make it a survival horror thing. Like have it.
I don't know if Star Wars will ever dip into horror like that.
No. But not even horror, but just like survival thriller. I don't know.
Yeah.
I suppose my ultimate Star Wars dream project is a pirate crew kind of going around their day-to-day actions, and then they get called upon to save the day for the greater good. Mm-hmm. Oh wait, no, that's Guardians of the Galaxy. But yeah, you see where I'm going with that. Mm-hmm. This wasn't movie worthy, and I don't have much to like on. And the fact that this came out now, it's a good thing, because now we can forget about it quick, fast, and in a hurry for the real return of Star Wars, coming from a competent, likable director with a great star and a great
I would say
cast.
an inoffensive director. I would say Sean Levy, like, he's not made anything where I'm like, this is actively bad, but he's not making anything that I'm like, this is fantastic, this is great.
You have to recognise the fact that he not only has great working relationships with Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, he also is responsible for the return of Deadpool in an era where Deadpool now belongs to Disney, not Fox, and he also included that return with the also return to the role with Hugh Jackman and Wolverine. So
don't get me wrong,
those are high pillars to trek.
He's an inoffensive director. He's a competent director. Like, I wouldn't say that he's a bad director in any sense, but I would have said the same thing about Jon Favreau. He's an inoffensive director. He's not making anything that I'm like, oh, Jon Favreau is my favorite director or anything like that. But he's inoffensive and he's competent. And then he makes something like this, or say the Lion King remake and stuff like that, where people actively say, like, why are you making this? You know, so that's what I'm afraid of when it comes to Sean Levy. Don't get me wrong. Name a bad Ryan Gosling movie. You can't. There are none.
Yeah.
So I am looking forward to Starfighter, absolutely. And it's what Star Wars does. It's a older person and a younger person together on some kind of adventure.
When you get a new Star Wars movie, I'm going, who's the director? Or who's the writer? Or who's the creator? And I'm going, right, Jon Favreau is now wasted. Because his Star Wars movie is a side expansion of a TV show where we don't know where it's going to continue. And I feel similarly to Ron Howard, where Ron Howard has a Star Wars movie, but it's him salvaging a movie that was originally created from Lord and Miller.
It's funny you bring up Ron Howard, because I was going to say to you, who would you like to see direct a Star Wars movie?
Ron Howard.
That's funny, because I was going to say Bryce Dallas Howard, because she's done some great...
So I suppose I answered prematurely.
Okay.
I said...
Take two.
Take two. Bryce Dallas Howard has created the best episodes of any given Mandalorian or Boba Fett show. So I think she should be entitled to receive the movie budget of a given random...
whatever she wants to do.
Whatever she wants, just go.
Yeah.
Make it.
You know what? I would actually like to see her take on a Daisy Ridley solo film. I'd like to see her with a female protagonist. Yeah,
like Star Wars is in a bit of a situation now where, in terms of their canonized events in their premium timeline, they are using a lot of TV to make up and justify the canon they've created, which is not well perceived.
Oh yeah, the majority of projects that have taken place after the Rise of Skywalker are nearly made to justify the things that happen in The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Like the Bad Batch and the Acolyte and...
Even something like in The Mandalorian with the cloning.
The Mandalorian and Ahsoka. All these different things feel like, in a way, it's like we have to include some elements that nearly justify or exactly that, like that, canonize the things that this is leading to.
I feel like they're trying to make good on what comes to be later on. And the fact that, Sheep Palpatine, he's alive.
What they're trying to do is, when it comes to Palpatine, right, people have said, this came out of nowhere. But now, because all these other building blocks are put in place after, it doesn't look like that anymore. Because if you watch everything, it's like, no, they were layering it out through The Mandalorian and Bad Batch and Clone Wars, all these different things. Look, they were slowly building towards it, and you go, you're not watching it in the way it was released. If you watch it in the way it's released, it's so out of nowhere, it's like, what the fuck?
And it's also like random moments as well that they could easily slot in there. Like they could just have a little sticky note top. And remember, we need to implement a moment here into your TV show, fit it in somewhere.
Yeah.
Like it's not that hard to do. Like it's whatever. Like Star Wars is no longer the pillar of global mainstream media now.
No, there's a phrase that you use a lot where some movies come out and time stops. You say that a lot. And Star Wars would have been that for you. But now, it doesn't feel like that.
No.
It feels like we need something big to make Star Wars the biggest movie in the world. Like, when we went into this year, Mandalorian and Grogu wasn't even on my top 10 most anticipated list. Like, the newest Star Wars movie wasn't on my top 10 list. That's nuts to me. And I'm glad it's not. There's other stuff on there that is way better than this.
Do you think we'll get a season 4?
I hope so. I like The Mandalorian and I like Grogu, and I actually liked season 3. I'm not a hater of season 3. Is it as good as the first 2 seasons? No. But I don't dislike it. So I'm hoping to see more of it because I'm hoping to see more of them.
It's a bit of a missed opportunity. You could have brought back the likes of Cobb Vanth or Bill Burr's character or Bo-Katan. You could have brought Boba Fett. You could have brought back any of these and you brought back none of them in favor of some CGI characters who we'll probably, I don't know, never see again. Like I'm looking forward to Ahsoka only for the fact of getting a little bit of Star Wars content. That's about it. And Star Wars Starfighter, that's next now.
Yeah.
So like maybe it's time we just get some Star Wars movies be just standalone, isolated Star Wars movies. And we like the great thing about them at the start is that they're Star Wars movie, and the great thing about them at the very end is that they're great movies.
Yeah.
That's what we need. And they don't need to be like episode 10, 11, 12.
No,
like,
just Star Wars movies.
yeah. But there's so many projects that have come and gone. Like it's absolutely ridiculous. It's
So much stuff that's announced that's never made.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing about
like
it.
Simon Kinberg is attached to do episode 9, 7, 8 and 10, 11, 12. But whether that'll be, don't know. Daisy Ridley supposed to do a Star Wars movie. Has hopscotch between Damon Lindelof to some other Indian.
James Mangold was part of it as well, wasn't he?
He's supposed to do like an origin story of the Jedi movie.
Okay.
He's someone I would like to see. I would like if there's any announced Star Wars content project that was announced that I would like to see to fruition, it would be his.
Okay.
That's about it.
Okay. Have you got any recommendations before we let these people go?
Mandalorian season 1 and 2.
That's good. I'll recommend the Star Wars Jedi games.
Yeah, the two
The
of them.
Fallen Order
Call of
and
Practice.
um,
I wonder
what's the other one called?
Jedi Order, Fallen Jedi.
Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor is the other one. The two of those following Cal Kestis. Have you watched those?
I've watched the first one.
Okay. I really recommend then watching the second one because I know you do watch games as well. So
Nothing wrong with that.
no, absolutely nothing wrong. But I would recommend both of those either to play or to watch. They're both great stories.
Yeah. Okay. No. Sorry. No. That it wasn't for your recommendation. It's just my overall feeling of this movie.
That's all right. Did you not like the? Well, I know you didn't like it. I just thought it was funny that while I was watching it, and Grogu had to hide Mando because he was not well and had to go about his life as if Mando was dead. I was like, oh, Ellie from The Last of Us, and look at that, Pedro Pascal playing Joel twice. I felt like it was so The Last of Us coded. I was like,
it could not have been more obvious.
yeah.
No. I thought that, but I thought you were going to ask you, didn't you think this part with Grogu was funny? It's like, yeah, when he's going onto the ship with the Babu Freak characters, and
I actually quite like the Babu Frick aliens.
I'm not going to lie, they were funny.
I do like the fact that, did you ever hear about why they're so involved in, or why Babu Frick didn't die in Rise of Skywalker?
Why?
Because they showed it to Steven Spielberg, and Steven Spielberg said, whatever happened to that guy, Babu Frick? More of him. I want to know he survived. And that's why at the very end he appears in the shot. I think it's with Billy D. Williams, and he like pops up and he goes, hey, just because he wanted to Steven Spielberg wanted to know that Babu Frick survived. And I'm like, good on you. Like, I like a weird alien, you know. And Babu Frick and I don't know what that race is called, but I like them. I think they're gas. Hey, bad baby.
I like the fact that you can just about hear what they're saying.
Yeah, it's
like,
every third word or something like that.
You can hear what they're saying. Mm-hmm. Like it's not incoherent entirely.
No,
I like the inclusion there, but like it was funny seeing Grogu kind of the lad said it in the in their own episode in Another Happy Pod. But so I don't want to make it look like I'm stealing it, but they did remind me.
Steal it. Go on, steal it.
Steal it.
See if they listen to this.
Baby Yoda was hunching over in the Babu Freak's ship.
He's too big for it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's too big for it. And the way they shot it as well, they made it like human height level. Like I was watching this movie thinking, wait a minute, Mando can fit on that ship, right?
I thought so too. I was like, get in there, Mando, and lie down. And just like you would just lie there for whatever it is, a day or two that you're flying. But like you could lie in there and not move.
But like it looked bigger when we were following Grogu. Mm-hmm. It looked a little bit bigger in my opinion. But yeah, the Babu Freaks, they were cool. No Carl Weathers.
Who?
Carl
Weathers.
Yeah. Grief Cargo.
We haven't seen him for a while though.
Because Carl Weathers died.
Exactly. Yeah.
Did you know that?
I did know that. Yeah, of course I did.
Yeah. It's just recast him.
Yeah, no, you can recast him. Like it's been done before. They did it with Bail Organa as well. Like you can recast.
I suppose they made a point about that as well.
Brian, thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Talking Pictures Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting app of choice. You can follow us on all of our social medias to never miss an episode, which comes out every Wednesday. We've never missed an episode. We don't plan on missing an episode. So
we never have. We never will.
Okay, well, we'll see.
What do you mean?
We'll try. Unfortunate circumstances may occur.
We nearly did, and I made sure we didn't.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, hopefully then we'll never miss an episode. But to make sure you never miss an episode, make sure you subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting app of choice. This podcast is brought to you by Another Happy Studios, so make sure to check out all of the other podcasts in our network. You can even listen to the guys over at Another Happy Pod. They came back for a special and did The Mandalorian and Grogu. They talked about it in a much more positive light than we did this time, but if you're hankering for more Mandalorian and Grogu, you can check out those guys at anotherhappystudios.com or on the Another Happy Studios YouTube page. Brian, any final words before we let people go?
The Mandalorian and Grogu, or Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu?
Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu.
Sissy. Wuss.
Well, we can put it as The Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yeah, it's better. It's better. Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Evan.